Established as one of the most colourful and forward-thinking football chairmen. He's also a highly successful businessman and more recently has turned radio personality. This week I've been finding out what makes him tick. There's no such thing as a typical day in the life of Wallace Mercer. Although he's on the other side of 40 and totally financially secure, his life still changes constantly. The one predictable factor, an early start and into the office soon after 8. Everything Mercer puts his energies into is, he says, an investment. The house, set in an exclusive Edinburgh suburb, which has doubled in value since he acquired it 8 years ago for £250,000. The personalised number plates bought, Mercer maintains, to keep up an image without having to change the car every year. Everywhere, the trappings of his success. But 'twas not ever thus. Alexander Wallace Mercer's story is the stuff of books. At 18, he took a job in London to fund his studies. At 23, he was already a building manager and was married. At 24, he had bought and sold 5 houses. A year later, he returned to Scotland, and with the proceeds from the sale of his London house, the Mercers had set themselves up in business in 2 rooms in Edinburgh's Hill Street. Mercer was a hustler, but while the company was taking off, there was a lot of personal sacrifice.
Oh yes, of course. You can't build up a business and spend the profits before you've made them. We decided when we went into business that the business had to come first and we had to just do what was necessary. So we didn't get any holidays, we didn't get all the trips abroad. We would adjust our life accordingly.
People look symbolically at the things you have, the acquisitions you have, but the reality of life is it's like anything else. The nearer the top you are, the harder you've got to work. I mean, the priority of my life is my family. And then my love of my life is Heart of Midlothian. My business activities really take a very long third place.
15 years on, Anne still runs the family business, while for the past 6 years, Mercer has been managing director of one of Scotland's fastest growing property companies, the Dunedin Group, in offices just along from where he started out. Dunedin Properties have assets of around £20 million and a wide range of developments.
Well, we're doing about 35 different transactions at any one time throughout the United Kingdom, but ones that give me a little bit of personal pleasure. Sometimes are not the biggest deals. I mean, I was delighted to be involved in acquiring the Italian consulate. I thought that was quite amusing, that my company is now has the Italian government as tenants. I thought that was quite fun.
Then earlier this year, Mercer, always reputed as the perfect interviewee, turned the tables and took a job hosting a weekly chat show for Radio 4th. Guests on the programme have come from all walks of life, but the studio is one situation where Mercer finds himself taking orders, not giving them.
5 seconds of theme.
Good evening and welcome to the Wallace Mercer. And tonight I have another double act of the highest calibre. Andy Irvine, former skipper of Scotland's international rugby side, British Line, and now accomplished Edinburgh property businessman, and Brian Meek.
Originally the concept was mooted when Malcolm Rifkin made a speech in Edinburgh saying that people in the capital should get off their backsides and do something. And we were looking for somebody to convey that on air, and Wallace Mercer struck us as the kind of person who could. It's a pretty equal collaboration. I mean, he has certain ideas. He will send me a list at the start of the series who he fancies pulling in, using a lot of his business contacts and personal contacts and so on. Obviously, here at Forth, we have quite a few that we can call in ourselves. And as the show has progressed, it's become easier to actually persuade people to appear.
We discussed the structure of it beforehand and the contents. In the first series, a lot of people came on because they were really doing me a favour. People like Alec Cameron and Michael Kelly and others really came on the programme because I was calling in some of the cards I'd given them. Now, however, I think some of the guests are coming on because we're getting a good audience and because they're enjoying it.
It's a strange feeling when Wallace Mercer phones you up and says, "Hello, Mr. Producer, can you spare me any time today? I don't want to interfere with your schedule. You're a very busy man." But the amount of time he actually manages to put aside for the series is perhaps a testimony to the fact that he's willing to put the time in to make something work.
Into the mystic.
But the side of Wallace Mercer the public knows best is as chairman of Hearts Football Club. Since he won a takeover battle to acquire the club 6 years ago when it was on the verge of bankruptcy, Mercer has seen the club show a steady profit and a change in its fortunes.
Symbolically, people see league flags and cups as a practical form of success. That really, in some ways, is again just a material trinket. It is an irrelevance. What is important is the well-being of the business, the satisfaction for employees, and the happiness and satisfaction you give to the community. I mean, football's not that important. It's an irrelevance in relation to social deprivation, unemployment, and much more serious social issues. And those of us in football sometimes get rather pompous about our own self-importance. So I therefore think it is the entertainment industry. And I think there's no sense us being awfully pompous about it. But what makes Wallace Mercer tick is the team round about me, bankers and people who assist me. It's through them that I get my support and energy. And also the friendship of the people in Edinburgh, who in fact give me the strength to take some of the barbs at times.
There's still lots of things in the melting pot, lots of things that could happen. When our children are through school and launched on their career, he and I will take up golf and then just do what takes our fancy.